Jonathan asks, what are some of the biggest mistakes photographers make when pricing their photography? Hey, welcome to the Photography Pricing Channel. This is the place where you go to make your photography business more profitable. And hey, if you have a question, tweet me at Rosh Sillars. I answer as many questions as I possibly can. And of course, some of the best and my favorite questions I like to turn into videos. So let's get right into it. What are some of the biggest mistakes photographers make when pricing their photography? Believe it or not, one of the biggest mistakes photographers make when pricing their photography is not asking if the client or prospect has a budget. And this is for multiple reasons. One, you can qualify the prospect to see if they even have the budget or understand the value of your photography specifically. Do they know what they're getting into? What are their expectations? And you can get a good feel for that if you understand, even if it's just a range, what their budget is. It's also not as uncommon as you might think for your prospect or client to have a higher budget than you were expecting. That means you can offer more services and still be in their budget and be paid fairly. Another mistake photographers often make when pricing their photography is when the budget is lower than expected, yet they still want to work with that client, so they lower their rate to meet the budget. Now, there's nothing wrong with lowering the rate. However, the mistake that they make is they don't take any services out. For example, if you were offering unlimited usage for your work, you could now say you have 1 year usage for that price. Or if you're a wedding photographer, maybe you take an album out of the package to meet the price requirement. There are a number of things you can do to match the price point, but just don't lower your price. Take something away to meet that price point. Another thing that photographers often don't do, a mistake that they make when pricing their photographs, is they don't ask how the photographs are going to be used. For example, if somebody's going to use your photograph for a small poster, the price is much different than a national billboard campaign. So understanding their intentions and how they're going to use the photograph will help you price your photography much better. A big issue photographers often face when pricing their photography is they don't account for all of their time to complete the project. And it's true for both photographers as well as clients. They think about the time on set. For example, a wedding photographer may photograph for 12 hours straight, yet not account for the 20 to 40 hours of time they're going to take to edit and process and deliver the final product. Here's a common issue that you'll find in many different industries, especially when you're dealing with sales. A lot of times the salesperson tries to put themselves in the shoes of the customer, and they try to decide how much can that customer really afford. Don't do that. Stick to your prices. The customer knows how much they can afford. You don't. So don't price your photography based on what you think the customer can afford, and in many cases, what you think you could afford. That has nothing to do with how much you need to charge for your work. Something I want to address that's really important when developing your pricing is to get out of the hourly mindset. Look, you're a freelance photographer. You only have so many hours in the day, and that does not scale. Hourly is to help you figure out how much should you charge as an internal number. Don't give people an hourly number unless they're capturing your time, such as in an event. But the rest of the photography out there, you should focus on a per image or per project price to help improve profitability to cover all of your expenses. Here's something really important to consider, and a mistake a lot of photographers make when pricing their photography, and that is not fully understanding the scope of the project. Just like the usage conversation we had a few moments ago, the scope of the project is truly important. In other words, what are the final expectations of the client? Ask that question. What will this project look like at the end? That'll give you a lot of insight to help you properly price your photography. A common mistake that a lot of photographers make when pricing their photography is worrying about what other photographers charge for their work. Look, a lot of photographers charge too little money for their work, and they're going to go out of business. You don't want to be one of those photographers. You want to stay in business. You want to continue to do what you love to do. And to do that, you need to cover your costs and you need to give yourself a fair salary that you can move forward with in the future. So you have to price your photography based on your business and your life, not what other photographers are doing. Lastly, and probably one of the biggest mistakes photographers make when pricing their photography is not having confidence in their work and who they are. Look, nobody has your eye. It's unique. It's unique to you, your style, and that will develop over time. But nobody is you. There is so much competition that I say competition's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. Everyone's a photographer. Everyone with a phone is a photographer. So don't worry about that. Just focus on who you are, your style. Continue to develop that over time. But look, if somebody wants to hire you, they value you and your work. If you have the skills to take great images, you should also have the confidence to charge appropriately. So what are some of the biggest pricing mistakes you see photographers make? I look forward to reading your comments below. And of course, if you found this video valuable, make sure you like it and share it with your friends. And if you don't want to miss a future upload, be sure to subscribe.